Hey y'all, it's Laura with Jot and Tittle Vintage Typewriters. It has been several weeks since I have done a video. Oh my goodness, I've missed it. I haven't, but I have. I have been super busy doing a magazine, and that's getting all tied up and finished up. So now I'm back to working on typewriters again. So today I have a 1929 Remington Portable No. 3. Gosh, this thing is so pretty. And I wanted to say, well, first of all, let me just kind of show it to you here. Look at this thing. Look at the colors on this. Isn't that gorgeous? And I know they've been around. You've seen these around probably some. This isn't the first one we've had, but it's so fun. And this one in particular, so a lot of times I do my summary at the end, but I'm going to do it now. I don't always recommend these older typewriters for active writing, mostly for just enjoyment, casual use. But this particular one, and I don't know if the one you have is going to be this way, but I found this one to flow so well. It was a super fun typewriter to use. I completely would and totally would write a book on this. It was, now on these, as you'll see in the tutorial video, the return handle is a little awkward, but once you start getting used to it and getting into that flow, this was really, really fun. So if you come across one of these early Remington Portables, don't necessarily shy away from it from an active project. You know, if you're writing a book and you want to have, and it's not very melancholy, it's pretty happy and fun, you might want to get something like this because every typewriter has its own personalities. I've done a video about it before. And I love the yellow keys. I love the two-tone teal colors, the blue greens. Just has that summery Mediterranean feel to it. You know, sunshine on my fingers and the beautiful waters around me. And I'm sitting here looking at my beautiful Table Rock Lake. In fact, here, let's take a peek because literally it just looks like out there. So you guys ready? This is my view. Isn't that gorgeous? And this is the wide view. Let me go to a regular view. Isn't that stunning? Oh, that's what this typewriter reminds me of. And so you get a little bonus on here. Okay, hold on. I can't see. I gotta get back out. I'm gonna pause this and I'll come right back. Okay. I don't know what happened there, but all right. So we're back, and sorry for that. I hope you enjoyed that little rabbit trail or squirrel moment. Anyway, all that to say is I really enjoyed this. So if you come across a Remington Portable, obviously you're going to want one that's been serviced or refurbished so that it's in a good working condition. If it hasn't been, these can be a little tricky. They can be a little sticky and not really flow well, but this one that I have here does. But this typewriter tutorial is that it's a tutorial. So let's take a look at how to use a Remington Portable. You may have a model 1 or 2, 3. There's minor differences, but this tutorial still should be able to help. So let me take the paper out. By the way, here I'll let you see the font. This one is a 10 CPI on this one. And no, it doesn't skip, but you'll notice there's a space there, and that was my fault. I hit 2 keys at once, but that looks pretty good there. So the thing about the Remingtons is you'll notice it doesn't have 2 knobs, only 1. And actually, I can't get it back in. That is one thing I don't like about the Remingtons is when you put them away, it has a cover. This is the cover. So it's got a cover that goes over it. And before you can put the cover on, you have to push the handle in, and they can be really sticky. And I'm not going to try to put it in while we're doing the video because it's going to be ugly, but and then same thing, it usually is going to take a little bit of oomph to pull it out. Getting it in is harder, and it always makes me nervous, so I let my husband do that. because he's the one that repairs these and I don't. So I let him put the handle back in if it's sticking on me. Anyway, so you do want to push that back in before you put the cover on. And when you take the cover off, you need to pull the handle out. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to turn the platen or the roller. Right here is your paper release, and we'll get into that a little bit more later. And that is your carriage release. The bell doesn't work great on this one, but maybe yours is a little bit better. So I'm going to flip this up so you can see really quick. Back here, right here, this is your margins. See, this one is really nice and easy. Sometimes these can get very sticky, but you just press and drag. I am not going to give typewriter repair or maintenance advice. That's my husband's wheelhouse. But I will say I ruined my very first typewriter because I used oil to loosen things up. So I will say that please don't use any oil. Take it to a typewriter repair person or do some research, okay? Or else you're gonna have to be like me. I had to pay a ton of money and drive 4 hours to somebody who could clean up my typewriter. Okay, also here is paper holder. And so we'll put it down and you can see your little Martian ears here. So we're gonna fold those down. We're not gonna use them right now. This is a low profile typewriter. This is fantastic to take with you to an outdoor cafe since it's so summery. Find a nice little deck or outdoor cafe and take one of these with you. Very sweet. Also, it has the open, typing basket up here. Now, the Remingtons always use a specialty spool. These are 1-inch spools. Most typewriters use a 2-inch spool. So if your typewriter does not have the original spools, you're gonna have to find like a typewriter repair or parts group. Facebook has some of those. And find one. They don't necessarily make them anymore, so you could have to find replacement parts. And if you do have them, treat them like gold. Do not lose them. If you do need new ribbon, what you can do on our website, we have a custom ribbon option. If you send us those spools, we'll put fresh ribbon on it for you. You just tell us what color, and we'll put it on there for you. When you're taking them out, you just flip these little metal pieces back and you lift out the spool, okay? Rob's got this nice and threaded, but when you do rethread, make sure that ribbon is gonna come up and behind these little points right here, and I'm gonna lift this up so you can see it. Okay, so the ribbon comes behind these, and then it goes down and around, and it comes up here through the vibrator and then around and down. So I'm going to hold up to the vibrator so you can see how he has threaded it. If you need to take a screenshot or pause, that is the best way I know how to tell you guys how to thread the ribbon. The reason we don't do more of these videos, and like I just had a comment recently, she was all pissed off because our hands were in the way. Well, when we try to video this, our hands are in the way. That's why we don't do more of them. It's just very difficult to video that. So if this can help you, then take the time you need. And that's why these typewriter tutorial videos are always so long. For those of you that need them, you're gonna appreciate it. And if you're just watching to kill time, then heck, you might be bored. Whatever. Okay. Here is your paper bale. So when you're loading your paper, it goes right behind the roller. And the reason I am so basic with these, you wouldn't believe how many people have never touched a typewriter. You would believe, because most of you, vast majority of you, have never touched a typewriter. So if you have and you don't need to know the basics, be patient with those who do. Whoops. All right. What I'm doing is I'm trying to I have 2 pieces of paper here. So this brings up a really good point. When you're using a typewriter, we highly recommend, highly, you use backing paper. We make backing paper. You can find them on our website. If you don't have backing paper, you can just use 2 to 3 sheets of paper. But what that means is sometimes when you're loading, the sheets will separate. There we go. That's a little bit better. And then I like to line up to make sure my paper is nice and even. Now, the backing paper I design has the guidelines underneath, and I now can't type without them. I love it. So I already showed you how to set your margins. My paper bale went way the heck out here, so let's bring that back over. You set your paper bale back down. This holds your paper taut against the platen, which is this roller. And then this is your return handle, and it pulls down. Most typewriters have a return handle that goes in. This pulls down, and then you have to manually push it. So like if I'm at the end, pull down, push to get to the next line, okay? So this is also your carriage release on the left side, and this should be your line. Oh no, that's also carriage release there. I am looking for the line selector. There it is. There we go. Single. Oh, that's single. Oh, ha ha ha. Sorry, y'all. I haven't had one of these in a while. That is the roller release. So I just released the roller. It's good for variable spacing or for, taking your paper out. What it does is it disengages the roller. Here we go. I knew it's different. These are so different. Okay, here is the line selector, and I'm going to hold this up. But before I hold it up, you pull it out. Why is this not working? There we go, and turn it. These little guys are, there we go. Now I'm on double. Single. Okay, single, double. Okay, I'm gonna lift this up so you can see where I'm at. This guy right here. That, and you pull it out and turn. Can't do it when I'm holding it up. There we go, I turned it. It's just a real subtle turn, but this pull out and turn, that is your spacing lever. And when I was on variable spacing, I got my paper out of alignment, so let's put it back into alignment. Okay. Sorry, y'all. It has been a long time since I've used one of these, so I had to remember everything because this operates so differently. Okay. This is your ribbon reversal. Again, I'll lift this up here in a second, but you can push either side. And then when you turn, it'll take out the slack of your ribbon. Press again, it should turn the other direction. Turn this way, it should turn that way. So in, oops, there we go. Oops, this keeps popping out. There we go. So this is your manual ribbon reversal right here. It's on both sides, okay? Down here, your keypad, this is your margin release. And what that is when you get to the end of your margin, let me move my margin in. When you get to the end of your margin, I had it, do you hear that little dink? Let's try that again. My bell doesn't work, but here. There's the dink. That tells me, hey, you're at the end of your margin. This is about to stop. And now I can't go any further. So I hit margin release and I can finish that. Go to the next line. That's your margin release. Tab. These should be preset tabs. And then there is a color selector, it depending on your typewriter. If the if the color selector works. On this one, the color selector doesn't work, so Rob just put a black in, and so it's just black only. But if you have a 2-color ribbon, this is where you would switch colors, is right here. You have your shift lock, and that is because for those of you who've never used a typewriter, without the shift, it's all lowercase and numbers. With the shift, uppercase and symbols. And then right here is your backspace. Remember, backspace does not erase. There's no such thing as a delete button on a typewriter, just backspace. Then you can type over your mistakes, or you can X through them, or you can put a line through them. You will make mistakes when you're using a typewriter. That's okay. It's a good lesson for you. All right. I know this was long. Thanks so much for hanging in there with me. Let's type a couple sentences as we go out, and I will see you next time.